Okay, call the meeting to order at 8 o'clock.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Alrighty. Roll call. John.
Here.
Dale.
Here.
Ron.
Here.
Sean.
Here.
Troy's here. Approval of the agenda. We have EOC and 2016 budget.
I'll move to approve the agenda.
Been moved by Sean to approve the agenda. Is there a second to the motion?
Second.
Seconded by Dale. Is there any discussion? Is there any discussion? Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Okay. EOC, do we have any bills?
Bob's going to be here at 7:45.
Okay. Want to go to budget?
Yeah.
Is this guy replacing this one then again?
Yeah. There was.
Okay.
We talked about some of the budgets at the last meeting, of course, and some of those changed.
Right.
Just a small update on the EOC, Advanced Fire Protection, I think was out yesterday.
I think somebody's out here now.
Okay, yeah, so
And Bergstrom Electric's pickup's out here too.
okay, so Advanced should finish today or tomorrow, and then he'll probably have phone us with that invoice, and then we can approve and check as soon as we know the amount, but, he's kind of doing a T&M, so we don't really know the amount until it gets done. But it'd be between 2,000 and 3,000, we just don't know.
They must be charging the system or something. There was water running out in the street and coming out of the building.
Yeah, I think charging no testing at both certified.
Okay, budget. Samantha, you the leader.
Okay. So if we want to just go through this one by one, do you want to do that? And then in your packet, there is the preliminary ad, to be going in the paper today at noon.
Isn't there a maximum on the fair?
No. I don't think there is.
Not that we know of.
Okay. I was just looking at that list of maximums and I was surprised there wasn't one on that one.
Yeah, I think we just kind of have, yeah, I don't think so. And we might have missed one or two here, but got them wrong, but I was just checking the county agent, I thought that was, but that is correct, 3 years.
One meeting is 2 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was surprised me too.
So would you guys like to go page by page, or how would you like to do this?
Let's just jump all around.
Start talking about one so we can find it.
You got a random page for me?
So you just go to Schedule A, page 1.
Well, yeah.
That page right next to it. We think we're going to be under the zero increased number of mills just because without the library it comes to 1,916,000. Last year we were at 1,917,000, so we should be complying with the zero increase.
Yeah.
We didn't take into account the new growth, but I don't think there was any new growth.
But that would give us some more room.
Yeah. So we should be okay there.
The state did not get me the taxable evaluation yet. It should be in the mail by today.
Here, what, October 9th?
So that's where we're at.
Yeah. So many of these, like the county road budget of 482,000. Once we know the value of a mill, we're limited to 25 mills, so that'll almost for sure be coming down to some new number, but we don't know what that new number is. That's true for an awful lot of these that are up against the limit. We think we're going to be over the limit, but depending on what that number is, we won't know until we get it.
The roads, that's one of the ones that was moved into the general fund and they didn't change their mind in the final.
No, not in the job.
It was never changed into the general fund, but it had its own stipulations spelled out the century code. That was up to 30 mills. The final 10, you'd have to have 20 of that approved by the voters, and we already had 15 of them approved by the voters. So we had the authority to do 10, and then there were 2 separate votes of 5 and 10 mills by the voters. So we're at 25. We can talk about that when we get there on that
Okay.
one. There's some things we need to look at for next year.
So Schedule B, page 1.
Okay,
Basically, you're gonna be levying $780,045.97 for the general fund, correct?
Yeah, that might be around 45 mils. It just depends again on what and we can go up to 60, so we're in good shape on it, but we don't know for sure how many mils it will.
see there's a typo in line 8 there. It says Exceal.
Not to exceed. Good point.
Thank you for catching that.
So the transfers in, is that the estimated carry from this year?
No, that's those.
That's grants or something?
Well, that's those funds that were transferred into the general fund, like the
Oh,
yeah those.
Human services.
Well, not human
It's on page C40.
C41 now.
C41 now.
Yeah, it's
Oh, okay, yeah.
That's the ones that were transferred,
Yeah, they each had, like county loan had a balance in it of 2850, and when county loan got transferred into general fund, that 2850 general fund. So-
They will be at the, right on December 31st.
Yeah, that's what we're projecting that we will transfer. The only big one, I guess, was,
Social Security is
Yeah.
the biggest.
okay.
Okay, B2, we have our revenues. I think the only thing that has changed since you guys met last time is the fairs revenue came out.
And the variable there is line 17. We don't know that number for sure. That's really an estimate.
yeah.
There are no delinquent taxes?
Oh, we do have them. They should go in.
But we don't know if it's actually gonna be revenue or not, do they? If it's still delinquent or not.
Well,
It's accounts receivable. I
it's
mean,
accounts
well,
receivable.
You put that on your income statement generally.
It should, we have it in the budgets, we have it in the budgets in the form of,
95%.
well, that, in the form of, let's see, let me find one where it lists taxes.
As an interest.
Yeah. So it's in each individual budget. It hasn't been totaled as far as, and we just use a dollar figure from 2014, the last time we had a audited number, because we don't know what it is going to be for 15. So that's not, that one can't,
There's no way to know what it's gonna be.
no, this isn't bank accounting, this is bureaucracy accounting. And here's the difference.
Well, it's just like the rest of them, built information management license, you have no idea what they're going to be.
So all we did was we used the last audited number we had, which was 2014.
Sure.
Good on that. Okay, B3. Those are continuous revenue.
It's the election revenue, what we collect from the city.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, $200 per town, or, yeah, per city. Good there. B4?
Do we just want to go through these individual budgets?
Sure.
I presume the totals are the same.
Yep. B5? No, that'll be the same. If you go to B7, that's your budget.
It's a little thin.
We all good there?
Yep.
Okay. B8. On the ad, would you guys like me to add a commissioner's budget with a 0 proposed budget?
That'd be cool.
Did you guys? Yeah?
With a hoo-ha behind it.
Get what you pay for.
You wouldn't get out of a lot of argument with people.
B8, district court.
Looks fine.
All good there. Auditors.
You're laughing? Oh.
He was laughing at Sean groaning.
Good there.
You gonna do some traveling?
Hopefully. Go to Vegas. Just kidding.
Is that where that miscellaneous in and out?
I don't know what that miscellaneous is for.
That's fine.
Okay. B10, treasures.
Yeah. That looks good.
Okay. State's attorneys.
Jimmy's spending more time here than 216, right? Is that
Yeah,
What's the deal?
he's here
2.5 days.
yeah. Plus what he does when you're
Right.
down here. Yeah, it didn't raise his salary, he just
right? Increase the time.
increased the time.
Good there.
Yep.
Okay. Recorders.
That ended up half of the 41,306. Right?
Yep.
Fine.
Okay. Superintendent of schools.
Perfect.
Good. All right. Tax director.
Hopefully that's what we talked about last time.
That appears to be.
Five, and then training went away. Right?
That's what you're proposing, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
So we got rid of that one line.
I threw mine away already.
I had mine. I think Sean's got his. That's what I had written down, but Sean forwarded it, so maybe we should find out.
So yeah, 25 and then training will completely. Yep.
And I didn't get time to do the courses and figuring all that out yet, so.
But I went and, didn't you send me something?
I sent it.
So all those courses that you brought to us are eligible for the certification.
Yep.
So I think,
That list she had the other day.
Yeah, then I
Yeah.
found it online, and I didn't chat and cross-check them.
Hey, custodian?
That additional, that was just because we don't know what the heck's gonna happen with this guy over here.
That's what was able, yeah, the additional wages is, if you look at what they requested,
Yep,
if you add the additional wages to what was the final allowance, it totals,
that.
yeah.
Okay,
Yep.
41.
Yep. A little bit more, actually.
plus if this thing ever gets done, we might end up hiring a service
Right.
to do the initial scrub down
Right. Well, I think it's not that, it's,
in the EOC side, but if
yeah,
this ever
oh, on this
gets done,
side, yeah, oh, sure.
Like a service masters or something
Sure.
like that.
somebody might have to come in here and do the
Right.
once over before we.
Hey, Bob. That's probably a good place to.
Should we just go through
Yeah, that
schedule?
one looks fine.
Okay, we'll stop on the budget for now and jump back to EOC. Morning, Bob. What do you got for us today?
After going,
What's that?
I've passed it around.
Oh,
I'll quick explain what's going on, I'll do that.
Go ahead, bye.
Okay, under security cameras, there's two cameras there. One would be focused off that window in the sheriff's office area. We're gonna put a ring down phone out there. What that is, it's a phone, you pick it up, and it calls just the sheriff's office. Instead of like when we have a call here, you can call where's the world at phone.
And I wouldn't have been there if we wouldn't have had to get rid of the office.
Probably not.
Yep.
The second one is proximity locks. It would be in those 3 or 4 doors at the sheriff's office. All of us who work in there would have a key fob. It'd be just a small little tag on our key set. You touch that lock and the door locks. When you're, we don't know if you touch it, as long as you're within a certain distance, we can unlock the door. So you can hand up prisoners and whoever else comes in.
Same thing, because we don't have anybody else.
Yep. The ring down phone, that's simply, it's just like it's a steel phone with a steel cord and a hardened plastic receiver. That's what the camera will be focused on. And the additional camera in that system will be in the interview room. So, FF&E, that's all the furnishings for the whole EOC, from the multi-purpose space, your guys' area, on to the west side. And then construction costs, that final EOC cleanup, that's Valley Maids. Got the lowest bid, came in on that at $32.79. The next bid was $37, and the next one would have been over $5,000. And the one over $5,000, they wouldn't even come look at it. Too busy.
Figured if they got it for that, they.
Yeah.
you make time?
That total comes to $41,625. And I talked to North Central Door yesterday. That locking system in the EOC for that interview room is backwards. So the person that we're holding hell, it is turn something and walk out. So I talked to him. All it's got to be done is just reboard and then capped. And I'm sure Scott Credits can do that. We could probably meet up another $400 on that. I'm sure if you need to do that. So. I'm waiting on a comparison bid for the furnishings coming from the lady in Fargo. Supposed to have that by 9. But it's gonna be higher.
So how do we go about this for the grant? Do we have to write these checks before the
They'd have to be written by tomorrow.
checks would have to be written by tomorrow?
Yeah. The furnishing one, that's, Debbie's already approved that. I sent out to her the bid, and there was $3,100 on there for the janitorial fixtures, and then she denied that. We're arguing about that right now a little bit, but.
How's that going?
Sure, not gonna go ahead. Under the standard, see, we have authorized equipment list, that's by grant sensitive, and there's standard equipment list, and some of that stuff is on there, so we're gonna take that. But as of right now, what I have is what's in front of me.
And she was fine with us writing the checks even though they weren't gonna get done, or just writing the checks? And
Rewrite the
just
checks.
done?
Yeah. This Valley Maid, she said, do you need me up there tomorrow? I said, no, we wouldn't as soon as you could. So we'd have to get some of the junk out of the way in there. And
Did you talk to these guys? The
which guys?
fire department, fire and.
No, I've been doing this 2 days straight. It's more than 6 o'clock.
I just saw they were sitting out here this morning working on it.
Yeah, Travis called me last night about 11 o'clock or something. Oh, they're gonna take, I have a dedicated fax line, 3311. They have to use that for a secondary line, fire alarms are doing that, and they're gonna be
Yeah.
tweaking some of that today, so.
Travis talked to me about that
Yeah.
too.
So do we need to write those guys a check too, or as long as we do the work and write them a check, and then we have till the 15th to get the paperwork in?
Yeah, I don't know what, some of this has already been paid for. I don't know what they're doing now, I think that's already paid for.
Well, they said it's gonna be a couple $1,000s.
Yeah, advanced fire protection, they'll try to get us the invoice on all by tomorrow.
Okay.
He gave us a range. I thought
Yeah,
we
2 to
just,
3,000.
I thought we just approved that.
Yep, they did.
Yeah,
Oh, we already did that. So
Yeah.
it's just Samantha can write him a check as soon as he gets done.
Yeah.
I don't know, what do you guys have for a final number right now? That last email Debbie sent me, she said it was 44,000 something.
Yeah, 944,000. That she had paid, 44,000 left to me.
That should be about right. I mean, there's 988.
Yeah.
And that's.
So if you had to write these guys $2,000, and we're gonna be right in the ballpark.
Yeah, we're gonna be real, we might be slightly under, but not very darn much.
Well, and we've got some room, some of those that got denied, like, Schultz, for instance, there was still $1,800 left in the mechanical bid from before that should be, I mean,
I would think so.
should be able to be used up, and there's, Bertram Electric, there's a little bit on that, I mean, so there's some arguing room on some of those. But, you know, the mechanical, there was $1,800 left, so no matter who did it, that was already bid, so.
And that if you wanna look at hiring Scott to fix that door, you're probably talking $200-300 there.
Right.
And there's no parts needed, it's just a matter of just
Labor.
boring through. And then Central Doors said they would provide us with a push plate that would cover the other holes. So. I can call Scott if he wants to invoice that out to come look at it. I mean, he's done the rest of the doors, and he's familiar with those doors. He
Yeah.
knows how to fix those.
It'd be nice if he could find the fire door on this end of the firewall and put that door into.
Okay.
As long as you do that.
You know where I'm talking about?
Not exactly.
When you go in the back door here and go
That hallway?
towards the courtroom, yeah,
Okay, that door.
there's a fire door missing there.
Okay.
And I wonder if we're gonna inhabit part of the building and not the other, maybe we should have that in there. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah, they said, when I talked to the insurance, when I talked to Andy, he said unless the firewall goes he said if it's under one roof, it really doesn't make any difference, it's one building.
Even if one end is occupied.
Yeah, he said you can have fire doors in there, but it isn't, so he thought that it should go under the state fire and tornado fund.
Right.
If it was explained.
But I was thinking just
for safety sake.
for access purposes, if
Yep.
you're gonna have this open to the public and this isn't,
Yep.
that door should be in there so we can control the
Yep.
flow.
Yep. We can find that.
Okay. So I'm done with it all then.
So I'd make a motion that we approve payment on these,
Do you have the vendor information so Sam can
Yes.
take care? Okay.
I'm gonna go back and get that all, make sure everything's perfectly refreshed and that, and I'll bring them up for their invoices, I have invoices for everything. So.
Okay, very good.
I'd make a motion that we approve payment of these 4 vendor billings contingent on having the correct amount of bids for each category. And we authorize Bob to go ahead and do that.
John, there's 5.
5? Yeah, 5. Amend that. Amend life.
I'll second the motion.
It's been moved by John, seconded by Sean to approve these bids or these expenditures contingent on the proper number of bids being received. Is there any discussion? Is there any discussion? Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. John?
Aye.
Dale?
Aye.
Ron? Sean?
Aye.
Troy votes aye. Motion carried.
So will you just have Valley Maids come up and start cleaning them?
Yeah, she said they could probably do it next week. But she knew it said it'd take her probably 2 days to make 2 trips.
Okay.
K&S said they got their free time, it'd take them 3 trips.
I have not found out anything about certificates of occupancy. I just don't think there is anything of that nature in Cooperstown, North Dakota. This isn't Fargo.
No, when I spoke to her about that, Debbie,
I talked to Nancy Lundy up at the city, and there's just no requirements in a town this size,
and I explained that to the DES, I said, they just couldn't believe their place in North Dakota didn't have that. Building inspector, I said, there's more of that don't than do.
Yeah, there's a lot of places.
And that's when we had talked about the insurance certificate, and said FEMA would approve our occupancy based on insurance certificate.
Okay.
Because the insurance isn't gonna insure the building unless it's occupiable,
Right.
and they're okay with that.
Unless you're in an entity that has a building inspector, there is no.
No.
Well, we can fix it. We can appoint Dale, the building inspector. Good occupancy.
If Sal finds yes, it's good.
Well, we'd have to have another budget. We got to get done with this.
Yeah, we'll put it under the sheriff's budget and give Bob a stamp.
I think if we have the electrical certificate and the insurance certificate, the deck sheet from the insurance company, that's all they're going to get, because
There is
I don't know what else you do. Like I said, we can create something, but that would just be.
I'll go back to the emails and get this, I'll send them to you, but, because when I asked her, I said we would look at, possibly potentially hiring a third-party inspector out of Fargo or something, come do it, and she said, just hold off, I'll run it up FEMA, and she came back that they would be satisfied.
And we've got that, so.
Because they can't make us do what we don't have.
No. Agreed.
Yep. I'll go back to this. Anything else in the budgets for my office, or we never really did anything more?
you want to go through.
Go on and go through this.
I don't have anything, I'm just curious if anything else.
Nothing changed other than what we.
Has there been any changes?
No.
Nothing.
So
no,
give them that budget out of Sean's packet there for the sheriff. So the cameras,
B-22.
the cameras that you're gonna add, Bob, is there already a DVR? Is there some cameras already? You're just adding 2 cameras?
There's no cameras. I was gonna put cameras initially, and with the DVR, and the proximity lines, and they got cut out in the process before,
So that includes the DVR?
Yes.
I see.
And if I can upgrade that DVR to like a 9-channel, because there's place on the building that they put boxes for cameras if you want to have them in there, so it's there. The cameras are the key part.
Right, and you just hook into the network switch, so you can look at the cameras at your desk.
I can earn my off my smartphone. You guys can look at them off your smartphone.
Well, you're gonna restrict access to them. You don't.
Right, yeah, we'd have to allow you to use it, but
Yeah.
that's whatever. Doesn't mean much to look at at home. Well, there's nothing changing, I guess that's why I think.
I don't think anything's changed on that budget. Just, there were some minor changes on some of the other budgets is the reason we're here today.
I think that one's, unless you see something, I think that says you propose it other than the officer thing.
Okay, that works. Well, I'm gonna go finish this up.
Okay,
Thanks, Bob.
I'll have it to you hopefully after lunchtime.
Perfect. Thank you.
thanks, Bob.
I just go to the judge's desk and get more than that.
If Austin comes to finish up his work, do I just write the check or how do you guys want to do that?
If he comes and says he's done, call Ron or Brian.
Okay,
Or do you want to be the inspector?
I don't want to be the inspector.
Yeah.
Yeah, he informed us last week that he was gonna come this weekend and correct mistakes, and he never, oh, he might have come this weekend, but didn't correct the mistakes, so I don't know what happened, but don't you think we will pay him and so that we have this on to the EOC billing, and then if the job isn't satisfactory, we'll just have to go after him? I mean, that's really all we can do.
It's such a small number, it's not worth going after him.
Right.
That's the problem.
I think he'll do it. I mean, it would be detrimental to trying to run a business to do some quality work. I mean, that's not much of a sustainable business. So I think he's reasonable.
It's Austin McCart.
I think we can talk to him, and again, I think it would be okay. But yeah, I think we should pay him so that if we're trying to get the rest of these straightened up, I think we better act the same way there. We've already paid part of it, of course.
Can I write the check and hold it?
No, I don't think we better. I think we better be uniform in how we're doing this. I'll talk to him.
I guess if we had to, it's a small claims deal, it wouldn't cost the county a lot of money.
Yeah, and yeah,
Somebody should probably document what's out there.
We've got that.
You got some pictures.
You don't have to, but it can't change. Just go kick it away and put a ruler on.
I was talking about the grading of that
Oh,
sand he put out in the front.
yeah,
That's
I
really
don't
some
know. I
awful
mean,
dirt.
man, you go walk across the street and look at the boulevard across the street, and it's way bigger than this one. I think by the time the sod gets there, it'll be fine. We'll look at it. See what he says. But I said walk across the street and look at the boulevard over there.
Yeah, no, but if they start out like that, they're gonna get worse.
They get worse.
I mean, the boulevards are gonna grow
Right.
because you
Sod.
clean snow
Yeah.
and you get gravel piled on there and gravel piled on there. Pretty soon you gotta come in with a maintainer and shave it off and start over again. But you don't really wanna start 6 inches high.
Right. He's gonna, I gotta call him tomorrow. He hasn't returned my call yet. But take care of it.
So pay him the full amount?
Yeah, I guess.
I don't know, I wouldn't.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, if we don't pay him and we end up having to pay him, let's say the bill is $4,000. If we don't pay him and then having to pay him, we got the full $4,000 comes out of the county. If we pay him now, $3,000 of it comes from the DES, and our obligation is $1,000. So if you think that we can settle this for less than $1,000, if we can settle this for paying him less than $1,000, then it would be beneficial not to pay him. If not, then it would be the other way. But I believe he'll come back and finish it. He just. I think
Combine soybeans.
Yeah.
They're combine, I know they were combine beans
Yeah,
last
he
weekend, because
he
they had a
hasn't.
combine fire.
You
Talked to
know,
Jason this morning.
Yeah, no, so I think he said he's gonna come back and finish it, and I think we'll hold him down. I think he will.
Motion to that effect?
Make a motion, we pay the rest of the A&E landscaping bill. Is that what they're called?
Been moved by Dale to pay the amount withheld from the original A&A landscaping invoice. Is there a second to that motion?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Sean. Is there any discussion? Is there any discussion? Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. John?
Aye.
Dale?
Aye.
Ron? Sean?
Right.
Troy votes no. Motion carries.
Um,
You gotta leave at 9?
I have to be there by 9. So.
Hope it's not in Fargo.
No, it's not.
Okay. Let's see, we went back to the sheriff. Do you wanna back up again?
General expenses?
To general?
You know, the one that changed is probably that reserve number. It's down to 170,000. And that was for that zero increased number of mills, just so we could squeak underneath it.
So that might change slightly.
I don't know.
No, it shouldn't now, because no matter what they do with the mill, with the value of the mill, the dollar value still stays the same.
Oh, sure.
So we just adjusted that because when we were taking things back out of the general, it changed things slightly.
Okay.
What's miscellaneous pay?
That's when somebody is gone or whatever, or like terminated, then we pay their sick leave and their
Oh.
remainder of
I
their,
know.
Okay.
yeah.
And the only one that we should maybe, what we don't have any say over is the bottom one, social service building.
What, we got 2 payments left on that?
I think so.
Sure. Probably 2 payments.
Can we even budget for that?
Yes. And no.
I mean, you're budgeting for a debt service payment.
This is really squishy. But the fact that we're not making the allocation for a long-term debt, we're just covering it on a yearly basis is probably the out on it. We didn't obligate anybody. We are just continuing the obligation. Because we have the ability to budget a year at a time, and so I consider this the fact that the previous commissioner screwed up. Now I figure it's a yearly obligation to this commission. They were the ones that made the long-term obligation.
So the debt's retired.
You know, you're pushed into a corner. What do you do?
What's got to come from somewhere?
I mean, it's gonna get done, but
Right. The alternative would be for us to go do the same thing and go budget it for another 2 years and, renew the loan or something, and then we'd be in the same position. So that's the only alternative that we could come up with.
I mean, if we had room in our budget, we could budget it as a capital expenditure for next year
Yes.
and pay it off.
And clean it up.
Yeah. But there's too much debt out there between those 6 notes or whatever. We don't
That was the discussion that we had, that if you set a precedent on one, why not all? And there's not money to do all of them, so then you have to make the best out of trying to fix the situation you have in front of you, and that seems to be the easiest way. So just so everybody's aware of that is a little questionable. But luckily the enforcement police are just another bureaucracy, so
Well, they encourage it.
yeah.
Yeah.
Really.
Don't do that or you get in trouble, and it gives you 10 years to quit that.
Well,
see where you do that after you pulled out emergency fund.
Well,
The money's gonna be out.
It's gotta come from somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Has to.
Right. So anyway, like I said, we just want to make everybody aware of what
Well, the emergency fund will get tapped also, correct?
For other loans.
For the other loan pay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still there.
So we're doing it. We're going to do that too. Dave.
We got goals.
We don't have many left to go through Schedule B and then we can stop if you want.
Okay.
What do you got for?
Zoning.
Fine with that one.
You on?
Right there.
County
County loan,
loan.
Okay, just
That was,
right there. Social Security,
Retirement is spelled wrong there, but
where is that? Oh,
Ritterment.
right there. Information Technology,
the only one in question there was the server update, and I guess we just left that in there.
Yeah.
We didn't know what to do.
well, and then these computer replacements. He's still going to get us. I mean, we're not going to spend that.
Yeah, we didn't, yeah, isn't that how we left it? We're gonna leave it in the budget, but we didn't
Sort of.
obligate to spend it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not a big deal, but I think all these page numbers probably changed, where it says with.
Yeah,
page
they're
C-
all off one. No.
Yeah, they're all, where it says with page C32, that might be C33 or something.
oh, okay,
And that's probably the case as we go on all of these.
Yeah.
okay.
It was 31, no, it's 32.
Yeah, previous page is wrong. So it's just a page number correction. You might just go through there and
Okay.
correct all the
Okay.
page numbers where it says with page. Make it to the right one.
Okay. Insurance. That's kind of out of our control.
Yep.
Okay. Sheriff,
You do it.
Is that one?
Done.
Corner.
Turner,
Good.
DES, anything there?
You all right?
Okay. County Fair,
New courthouse.
Courthouse, good. EOC grant,
Good.
good. Courtroom grant,
Good.
Okay.
Shouldn't we be budgeting some revenue in that?
No, not.
It's gonna be in 215.
It's gonna be done, it's gonna be
Oh,
done.
okay. Yeah, that's right. We already talked about that.
That'll be
Yeah,
all
same as
good.
the EOC, that would be, yes,
Okay, we're on Schedule C. Do you guys want to continue going on and Lori will just sit in, or do you guys want to take a break and I can let you know when I'm done?
We'll keep going.
Keep going? Okay, Lori will be up in just a minute.
Do you want to take a 10-minute break?
I move we take a 10-minute break.
Second. The moved and seconded, then we take a 10-minute recess. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Motion passes.
Yes, you go.
Good?
Huh?
Probably didn't feel good.
Probably didn't feel it, then she looked at
Big road trip.
Call the meeting back to order. we'll pick up in Schedule C. Yeah, we probably don't need to go through that schedule, do we? Just go back into the,
Yeah, it's just that, you know, it's a combination of all three of them. You know, we combined the county road and bridge fund into. It's a combination of the, right.
Highway.
Yep, yep. So Ron, you want to explain this one?
No, I don't think anything's changed. So it's one of those that, like I said before, it will come down once we know the value of the mill, most likely.
Okay.
Unless the value of the mill is way high, but otherwise it's kind of like we just talked about, the farm to market. And that other one just all went into the county road and bridge fund, huh?
Right.
I think we talked last time that we put that Senate Bill 2103, House Bill 1176, that shows up on both the revenue and expenditure side.
Right. The other thing of note is if you go to Schedule C, page B, and if you look down in the construction reserve, 763,674, right at the bottom, line 50.
Which page, please?
Schedule C, page B.
That should be page 8, I think.
Yeah.
page what?
It should be 8, but right now it says page B, but it should be 8.
Should be 8B.
8B, yeah.
Oh,
It's,
yeah, okay. That's what-
let's see one more page, Sean. Here we go.
8B, okay.
Oh, here.
There you go. Okay. Go down to line 50. 763,674. That is just what it says. That was a reserve number left over in all those funds for future construction.
Okay.
That came down from a total of about $1.2 million. So we had to use about $500,000 of it towards this year's budget. So this year's budget with the 25 mills does not cash flow. It took money from carryover from about 500,000 from the years past. So if we wanted to continue this budget one more year, we'll use up this 763, and there won't be any way to continue
To do
funding
match.
this thing as it's been funded. And we only have the ability to add, even with voter approval, another 5 mills, Ron? We're at 25 mills, and we can't go to 30. We'll have to get voter approval to go to 30. So there's gonna have to be some drastic changes made in this road department. Because as it is right now, it's not cash flowing. We're using up money.
State funds is what's cash flowing, isn't it?
Well, that won't change anymore either, because now those projects are 100% state funded. We'll still get some state funds, but the projects are 100% state funded. We won't need any money to put in our 25%. But it also won't put any money into the coffers, because all we get back is what we spent.
Right. The only way to fix that is if we do some of the state-funded projects ourselves.
That's correct. That's absolutely correct. So we take and we do these federally funded or state funded projects ourselves, which funds the operating of the county road department. And whether that's on purpose that they change it around us that way or not, I don't know. But that's the only way we're going to be able to keep the county road department intact as it is now with the personnel and the equipment, is we're going to have to start taking on some of those jobs that we've been farming out.
And if we can, why not?
Yeah, if we can.
If we can.
If we can, that's, but because those dollars for those projects are gonna have to replace the operator.
Right.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's gonna keep on.
Well, we'll make it happen. We used $500,000 of it
Within 2 years.
into this year's budget, so there's 763 left. Next year, that'll be gone, and we don't have the ability to go to the taxpayers to ask for anything more than another 5 mils, which is
5 mils, I think, cut it.
right. And that's not for sure anyway. The risk we run is, right now we have 5 mils and 10 mils have been voter approved, and the commission can authorize another 10 mils. If we put it to a vote of the public for 20 mils, it's not in addition to the 5 and the 10, it is just an additional 5, but if they said no, you would lose the 5 and the 10 also, they don't stay in place. Because you put it up for a public vote, so you could put it up for a vote and not get approval for any of it.
What was the last one good for, 4 years?
4 or 5, I think, because somewhere in there. That was a couple of years.
Actually, it was kind of an odd number because it didn't always fall in an election.
Mhm.
It got fell in between once in a while.
Yeah, it seems like it.
So you're risking 15 mils to gain 5.
But the 5 and the 10 were voted on at different times.
Mm-hmm.
They were, but if you vote, if they're part of the 20 mils that we would have to ask for, so if we put it to the vote of the public,
You'd have to combine it.
yeah, the way it looks to me, but maybe that's not the case. But either way, they're going away. They don't have to be voted on.
Again,
Yeah. And if there's not a time referenced in the original vote, then it's from 10 years from 2016. If there's a time reference in the original vote, then it has to abide with that timeline.
unless it luckily coincided when you needed another vote, then you combine them.
Right. So anyway, that's something that we're okay for this year, and we could get by with next year, but after that, there's, at the current funding of the road department, it's not sustainable.
No, that, one of the reasons for that is because all those costs, or some of those health insurance and retirement costs were in the general fund prior.
I don't think so.
No, I don't, it was just one of them. It was either health insurance or retirement. It was- The others were back for.
Oh, they were done correctly?
Yeah.
Okay.
So what revenue source did this originally come from? Oh, no?
Don't know.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask where did the reserve,
Where did it come from? It appears, if you go back in the budgets, it's just always been,
It's just been building?
yeah, kind of hanging in there, up and down, and yeah. But it's been, yeah, don't know where it came from. So, at some, what do we get, about 300,000 in state aid?
Well,
350?
yeah, just a highway fund. I think.
Yeah.
It's about 380 or something like that, 350 or something.
Right. And then the 25 mils, which would give you another 450. So I mean, you're gonna have to somehow run it on about a $900,000 budget. Yeah.
And if you farm it all out, it's a big portion of it.
Yeah, the salaries and the benefits alone are about 600,000, what they're on.
Pardon me?
Yeah, the salaries and the benefits alone are 600,000.
Yeah, I think they would.
Yeah, those are approximate numbers.
Right. Is part of the problem with the road budget with what we're charging the townships, are we charging them less than our cost?
I've never, we don't have the ability to do a cost analysis on that. I mean, unless you use the total budget against that.
But I mean, what do we charge per hour?
I think, yeah, Yeah, I don't think it's too scientific.
Is it charged per hour or per mile or is it
Per hour, it's
Per
like
hour.
80 or $85 an hour.
So all we're getting is fuel and a man. So the machinery is being, cost of the machinery and the operations and maintenance of the machinery is being covered by the county budget. Maybe in the future, that won't be able to be done that way.
Well, I kind of looked at that, but then kind of gave up even thinking about it because the township budgets are so limited. Even if we raised the cost, it wouldn't bring in less revenue. They would just do less work because they don't have any money to pay anymore. So it wouldn't solve the problem.
So they might do it twice a year instead of 4 times a year.
Yeah, some townships are so broke they can't do what they're doing now. And
Some of them have CDs.
Yeah. So that one, I don't, that wouldn't be a,
Well, if they did less work, we'd need less people to do it. I mean,
yeah, unfortunately, when you look through here, the only way to fix it is to shrink the size of the road department.
but that would be one way to do it.
Yep. And the two major drivers of the cost of the road department are the personnel and the leased equipment. It's the main, those 4 maintainers are a big drive there, and could that be done with 2 of them? Probably. So someone's going to have to look at that, and we've got to look at it pretty quick because it just
It's coming.
it's coming. It's you can't close your eyes. I mean, to do nothing, we'll end up a year from now saying, okay, you guys got to lay off half the staff and get rid of 2 of those graders, and so anyway, so everybody's aware of that.
Okay. Where are we going next? C10?
That's fine, then we'll change
Okay, C11. That's just the bond payment.
Guess the mill
C12, that's gonna be done.
Yeah, that's going to be changed. Right, Ron?
Oh, well, yeah, for the advertisement, we just left it blank all the way across.
And that's what needs to be here, because
Yeah.
there's nothing requested. It'll have to be amended for 2015, but at the end of 2015, it'll show a 0 balance.
Yeah, so.
So if there's money left in there, then that should be put into the courthouse.
The EOC grant fund, the money left in there,
I mean, I can see this could become a point of contention.
No, the EOC grant fund, the EOC grant fund is the amount of money that was allocated, the 988, less the expenses. So when we're all said and done, if we, the only thing that should be left in there is what we didn't spend on the 988.
Which will be part of the 25% match. If, I mean.
No, the 988 is the 75% of the 13, of 1.3
Oh,
million.
okay.
Yeah. So,
But if it isn't spent, that means that somebody put more in there than the 25%. That's why I said it could be a point of contention, because if the building authority is gonna say that's money they put in, and we could make the argument that that's money that the county put in.
no, the EOC grant, this budget is just keeping track of the
Money that comes from.
the grant.
Yeah.
So when it started out, if it would have been done correctly, it would have had $988,000 would have been the revenue
Right.
in 14. And then as it got spent out of it, then in 14, 657,779 would have been subtracted from that, and the balance forward would have been the difference. So when we're all said and done, if we max the grant out, it'll be zero.
Should be, yeah.
If we don't, anything that we didn't spend would still be available, but the grant timed out, so it's not available. So it shouldn't have nothing, it doesn't pertain as to where the money went, it pertains to us where the money came from.
Okay,
So then we'll have to justify
you'll have to zero.
your question, the $988,000 that we got did go into this project. Yeah. That sound right, Ron?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay,
Because that wouldn't have been the actual revenue in the 988 if we don't max the grant out, correct?
Correct. The possible revenue was 988.
Yeah.
The actual revenue is gonna be what we've collected.
Right.
Yeah, you're right.
our tax, that's kind of dependent on how busy.
The office is,
Right.
Mhm.
911 coordinator.
And that should say, see page 14A.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's gonna be
There's quite a few.
quite a few of those to be changed.
So we're not levying anything, we're gonna, at the end of this year, we'll still have a balance of $66,000 in that account. We don't know where that came from.
Okay. Flood 2011. We need to amend that, or can't amend that, or does that just sit on the books forever? Oh, you did. Well, you show an amendment, didn't you?
I originally recommended the wrong thing, Ron fixed it. We put a miscellaneous expense. We originally had a $39,000 balance shown at the end of the year. We matched an expense with that, so if we don't spend anything, we'll have a $39,000 left, but it's available to be spent if we should decide to move forward on one of these flood expenses that were earlier.
Oh, there's stuff pending.
Yeah,
Okay.
And that would be like if a township had a project they haven't completed yet.
that was previously approved. Yep,
The money's waiting for them to
yep,
get the work done.
yep. And before, we didn't have an expense, we just showed down in line 29, we just
So
showed
you
the
still showed
balance.
a balance.
And that wasn't right, so there's,
So these funds haven't been collected from FEMA yet.
yes,
Yeah.
yeah,
They
they
just
are.
had-
These were, FEMA did it, I'll do it differently. FEMA came out, the townships that went through and identified projects, FEMA came out and approved the projects. When FEMA approved the projects, they allocated the money. We get to spend the money when when we complete the project, at some point, we time out and we'll have to send the money back for the projects that weren't completed.
So they paid them before they were done.
Once they authorized, yeah,
They pay it to the county and the county allocates it out to the townships as the projects.
yeah. And at some time, if you don't complete these projects, the allocated projects, you can't add any more projects to it, then you will have to write FEMA a check back.
Okay. And the same thing in 2009, I'm presuming.
Is there matching funds with that or something, or it's just a direct?
No.
They pay all.
So how come they're not getting done?
Sites might still be underwater or.
And the reason FEMA did that is because.
I mean, I guess with what's left, that could be just one or two projects is all, and it eats it up pretty quick. It's not tons of money.
Right.
County welfare,
I just sent an email to you from Tammy. Tammy sent one to me. She said, Ron, there was an error in the calendar year 2014 actual costs that were sent to us initially. We received an email on August 13th, 2015 to make the change and resubmit to the state. I have put the new amount on the attached budget calculation spreadsheet, which I haven't looked at yet. I have scanned and emailed these to Samantha on August 18th. I will look at the budget now and get back to you shortly. And then she attached something, let's see. Oh, that's that consolidated form. I don't know if it's anything important or not.
Yeah, on line 6, Ron, it's,
Where?
you got there?
Oh, there, okay, line 6.
Remember that was 0, and now it's negative 29,883, and now we have 382,562 for the adjusted county social service budget.
So that means,
Actually, it's 398 after they put in the health insurance. If you go down the line 9,
okay, but we got 390,000 here.
and they 398.
Oh, we could go up, so we're okay.
We're okay, yeah.
Okay, good. As
The
long
way
as-
I see it, I mean, I don't know how you do that.
Well, yeah, line 9, total calendar year, budget limit is 398,000 on line 9. So-
Right, and
And we were under it, so.
the net increase without the adjustments was 382,562. That yellow there.
Yeah,
And then
okay,
they put the cost of living or the increases the state allowed.
yeah.
Yeah, and then it came to they put the 15.13% increase, and then they put in the 3% increase. So the new number is 398,412.
Yeah, and she's not really asking us to increase it. The old budget is fine, she doesn't want it increased, but I know
So we're
8,000 under the limit, so.
but it probably.
hi there.
What goes fast?
Yeah, didn't take long.
So 274, 713, 0.33.
Thanks, Lori.
You bet.
Thank you, Lori.
Yeah.
It's probably going to get hard to get to that 274 anyway. That would be 20 mills. That would be a mill of $13,735.
Yeah.
So we could raise that by $8,000, but I don't know what that. She's not asking for that anyway.
She really didn't ask for it, yeah.
No.
She just said we're safe with that number, so.
Yeah.
So, on the revenues, how come the general property taxes are Xed out?
Because that's how the bottom line 29 of the 2000 final appropriation, that's why it's a negative number. That tells you how much tax you have to appropriate. So you take that 274
Where are you at now?
on C17.
Okay,
Okay, what we're working for is to arrive at the general property tax. So once you do all the equations, the bottom line for the final appropriations 2016 is a negative number,
Yep.
that's what we have to
Well,
appropriate.
that's what you're gonna
So
need.
that will become, when it's finalized, that will become, where it's Xed out, 274 will be up there.
Oh, okay.
And then 29 will become 0.
I see.
Yeah. They work it backwards. We're solving for general property tax when we do this.
It's just we don't know how many mills. Tell the value of the mill.
Just coincidentally, that's about what we need to keep operating our road department.
You don't have healthy people, or you don't.
20 mils.
So, it is either or.
I don't think this has a lot to do with healthy people.
Yeah, there's a difference between mental health and physical health. So anyway, we're good on that tonight.
Okay. And the human services and human services 2 are all rolled in there.
Correct.
So we can go to the cops grant, which doesn't exist next year. Emergency.
We didn't use a lot of it, so we're projecting we're only gonna have to levy for $20,000 worth of taxes.
And that would maintain the $125,000 in the emergency fund. That seems like a prudent number, or how did we arrive at that number? That's just the way it was, so
Yeah,
we're gonna,
not too scientific.
okay.
Just
Yeah.
Is there a real limit on what it can be?
10 mils.
10 mils.
Correct, Bob?
Oh, 15.
15, yep, 15, yep. Yep, 15. I said 10 yesterday. So it could be around 200 or $300,000 or so.
270. Just using 18 as well.
But you know, the actual use of the emergency fund is just for natural disaster, basically. It isn't.
Basically,
It can be
shore
a-
up the road part.
It's not if your car blows up?
No, no, and no.
That's an unfortunate event, not an emergency.
So that's, yeah.
It's basically to shore up the road department if it snows a lot.
Right.
Yeah.
That's what that's what it could be used for. So there could be a bigger number in there, but then you'd have to pay for snow.
Yeah.
And that wouldn't cure the road department bills anyway, because that would be over and above what we budgeted anyway, so.
Going on to document preservation. Good. VSO.
Need to change the page number there too.
Yeah, 23.
Throughout this thing, there's revised page numbers.
Okay.
On just about.
Yeah, they're all off by one
Okay.
number. That looks fine.
Okay. County victim advocate. There was discussion between Kelly and Jamie on this one, and I'm not entirely sure what communication was there. Kelly had got information on a fund like this, and she wasn't aware that we had one. So then she was talking to Jamie. Hi, dear.
You said it needs to get in the courthouse?
Okay.
Phone lines?
Speaking of Kelly, we were just talking about you.
Hi. This county victim advocate,
Yes.
did you talk to Jamie about that?
I haven't talked to Jamie, but I've talked to other people. We have 14,181.25 in that account. It's supposed to be distributed every year. I sent out a mass email, and there's a lot of people that do it at their month end. They send that fees out. We've never sent any of it out. And it's a fee that's collected from fines from the court, and it's supposed to go to a victim advocate program or abuse center, something along that nature. So somebody had sent an email inquiring about it, so I thought, I don't really know. I've never done anything with it, so it automatically goes to the treasurer's office. So I asked Connie, I said, what do we do with that fund, and when is it distributed, and where does it go to? And come to find out, no money has ever been distributed from those funds.
That's what it is, accumulating in there.
Yeah, because the fee is $25. So at 14,000, it's been accumulating.
$25.
It's been accumulating a long time.
Why does our balance show 5361?
I don't quite understand what Jamie's got some budget, something for that. I don't quite understand, but no money has ever been distributed from that. So I was going to talk to him and ask him about what exactly is going on there, but
Go to actual expenses and the bottom line, 13,561 in 2014.
yeah, I know.
Well, no, left-hand side.
Oh, okay.
No, right here.
Well,
Actual expense, okay. Okay, that was the closing balance, audited balance for 2014.
Yeah.
2015, there was these expenses that were budgeted. They haven't been spent. So when we close out 2015, if nothing's been spent out of here, then that 13,561 will increase by the increase in revenues. And the same for this year. So yeah, it's quite possible that right now there's 14,000 some odd dollars in the account. And if there's nothing ever being spent, it's just going to keep accumulating there.
Yeah,
$25
and it's
at a time.
Yep, and it's actually supposed to be distributed. So that's what I'm in the process of finding out is, how often do people distribute it? And we don't have some place here, obviously, in Griggs County, but Valley City would be a good place for us to send the money to their crisis and
That's what,
abuse center.
under expenditures, that's what we listed Valley City for 1,000.
Yeah, but these other things, I'm not quite sure what those are. The North Dakota Century Code it has only two areas that the money can be distributed to.
Okay.
So, and I did forward that on to Jamie and asked him, what are we doing with ours? So,
But I
This
mean,
is $25 fines that we collect
yep.
for who?
It's a victim witness fund. It's an automatic fee. It's kind of like our court admin or court facility. So that grant, it's when there's a crime committed, they get fined, assess that fee, and that's where the money is collected. So it's $25 that's collected for victim witness, and like I said, it's only got two areas that it can go to. So that's why I have to talk to Jamie. I don't know. And I don't know how many years this budget has been going on, but I talked to Connie, and there's never ever been any money that's been distributed to any of those places.
So that should
by
be-
areas, you don't mean geographical areas, you mean areas of
Help.
Yeah, sorry,
Right.
for the Century Code, yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So if we're going to spend it, it would be my preference to spend it in Griggs County. If we have to adopt a program that falls into one of these two areas, it should be spent in Griggs County. We shouldn't send it somewhere else.
Well, I can go get the Century Code if you want to read that too, what I got from my court administrator. It's supposed to go to, I can go get the Century Code, but we don't have one of those centers here.
Rape and abuse crisis center or something
Mhm.
like
Right.
And since we don't have one of those, there's a lot of counties that don't have them, and they send them to, when we have somebody in that situation, they went to Valley City or they went to Jamestown, different places. So
Okay.
I'll get to that Century Code if you want to
No,
see
we
it.
don't even know.
We don't need it now. We're
Okay.
probably not going to fix this year.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm looking into it because our balance, I believe, should be zero. the money
Every
is
year it
supposed to
should be
be.
apparently. Right?
Yes, it should be. I mean, like I said, one clerk said that their treasurer distributes it monthly. So we'll have to. I was gonna gather more
Well,
information.
don't distribute it until you talk to us.
What was that?
Don't distribute it until you talk to us.
Yeah, no, I don't. I wouldn't be. That would be somebody else that would have to.
Thanks, Kelly.
Sia and Tammy would like to come to your meeting right now to talk about your budget. Is that all right?
Who?
Sia and Tammy.
Yeah, I guess so.
Should add to the confusion.
I've had every opportunity for the last 2 months. I mean,
Special assessment.
What exactly is this fund for?
this is for the special property taxes in Cooperstown for the streets.
Oh, okay.
Oh, we just collect these on behalf of the city?
No, we have to pay them on county property.
Oh.
Specials, okay. For so when they pay
our taxes
your
are going to be
sewer-
9,200. Our taxes are going to be $9,950.
Okay, got it. I guess that's a fixed number.
Yeah, I don't know how many years ago, but another 5 or 10, I suppose.
Well, the paving we just did, got added sewer.
Yeah.
There'll always be a special assessment. When one runs out, there
Water, the wells,
somewhere
and all
else.
that.
So that the city just gives us the what the bill was last year, and that's what we used, wasn't it?
Mhm. Yeah, it's the same every year, I guess.
Should be unless they add a new one,
Yeah.
or one expires.
County agent?
But they're,
And then 2680 or 25.
county agent special one. Good there.
You're just using up money that didn't get spent this year because we didn't have a county agent?
There's all big money in there. If you look back, the balance in December of 2014, they were carrying 81,000. Then they're carrying 72,000 is what we predict we're going to carry at the end of 15. And now we're using it up. In 16.
Is there a reason to carry a balance in that budget?
Because they could.
I don't know of any other reason why is there nothing that we can find.
Okay,
Just clean it up.
okay.
And I think just because of the way the budgeting process was working, it wasn't based on what they needed, it was based on what they could get. And so we got that last year and they went down. And to be the 72,468 in 15 estimated, that's going to be higher because we didn't have a county agent. So the $11,000 over in the right-hand corner is going to be high. We're going to end up with more money in 2016 than we predicted.
So we won't have a levy at all?
No, right now there's no levy in 16 at all.
Next year will be a small one. pretty
Yeah,
big.
depending on how much we carry. I think we're going to carry about $30,000. Oh, I think we're going to spend.
Yeah, probably summer's in there, so
Yeah.
it might not be any levy or real small.
County agent special? What's that for?
County agent special fund, that is for those, weed tests.
Oh, that's right.
Chemical hazard?
That's permits or something?
I don't really know what it is. We just,
Who administers that?
I think that's Bob.
we're getting revenue of 655 from something. I don't know where that
We
revenue
don't
comes
know.
from. Yeah.
We don't know, we don't spend it, and so
So
we're
that,
not levying for it. I mean, it's good, it's gonna have a balance of $4,888 at the end of the year.
That one just keeps growing.
so that could be moved into the general.
Not after, it
That's
has
a
to be
special
inactive,
revenue.
it has to be inactive for 3 years.
As long as
and
there's revenue
inactive
coming
is-
in, it's
If
active.
revenue come in, it can't be, it's not inactive.
They get money for that from chemical dealers.
Yeah.
Oh,
And
okay.
That's how it's funded, or where
Yeah.
it grows from.
Because the storage of chemical could possibly pose additional costs to the county.
So maybe it's supposed to be kept here in
So
the
be like
event.
for a cleanup or something.
Yeah, I imagine.
Yes, in the event we do have to have it.
If you drop a jug of 2,4-D and don't have enough fluoride to handle it, you know, it's for some event.
Okay, alcohol monitoring. Yeah, that's just an in and out too, right?
Yeah.
T125 is an in and out as well.
Weed control.
Same thing, we're just burning off the balance, so.
That weed control, it had that one screwy line on page 31A, that
Yeah.
line 19. And that's the reference to the century code. And the century code says that you have to budget an amount equal to 3 years' worth of bill. So we put that 20,000 there to make it add up to the 53,000, and that's approximately 3 years of a bill.
Yeah.
I don't know what the reasoning is on doing it.
Just so you have money for the cost share for the chemical.
Oh, okay, maybe there's some option to it.
So that one, so this one next year, we're gonna have to levy taxes for it. Right now, we don't. Unless we don't spend it.
Is that a miscellaneous revenue that we got from the ag department then, or what we're supposed to get? That 19.5?
Yes. Yeah, that's from the LAP or the, which
Yeah.
one we're on?
There's two of them, LAP and.
The miscellaneous revenue there. In
Yeah.
2015, that's the LAP.
Yeah,
Yeah.
lap or tag, one of those two.
Last one, you ready?
Come on in, yes. Sign in, yes.
Yeah, just interrupt.
Leafy spurge.
Hopefully that'll
What in
go
the general fund?
there, that should be scratched.
They got moved.
Yeah.
Regional corrections.
So this with general fund should be taken out, correct?
Yes,
No, the regional corrections did not get moved. Just,
You got moved, you got moved back.
yeah, it's back in the special revenue fund.
right. So line 6 and 7, should that not say that?
That's correct.
Right. Yep.
That's should be scratched out.
JDA. Are you on that one? Am I going too fast?
No.
That's kind of the same thing. With
JDA, so that with general fund should be taken out.
Yeah. And on the JDA, they actually have a checkbook, so they got a checkbook balance, but that isn't part of
The
the
county.
counties.
No, I-
So it's
The
off
the only
side.
thing they get is a tidbit from an uncollected tax once in a
That's
while.
correct.
That's JGO, so.
That's correct.
Or loan payments if they have revolving loans out. Beth is going to be moving to Daisy before winter. So we might be looking for a somebody in the JDA world. Because I think you have to be a resident of Griggs County to be the
A
JDA.
voting member, yeah.
But you don't have to have a GDA.
Yeah, we could vote to give it back to the county.
That'll, just to let you guys know, that'll be a decision that's gonna need to be made.
But that isn't the mandatory. That isn't the
That is
mandatory. So. Okay.
I think the county commissioners can dissolve the JDA, or a citizen can petition.
To do it.
I
I
think.
think that's what
I think that's what I read in the
you
century
read
code.
yesterday, yeah. Doesn't make so much sense to have it if we're not going to fund it.
I think the only reason that it was still in operation is just because of the remaining balances in
Mhm.
that checkbook, you know. So,
It'll look good, there will be profit.
one option is, she might still do it. She just wouldn't be a voting member. County loan,
County loan, social security, IT, insurance reserve, county fair, and district court are all in the general fund now.
I thought the county fair didn't get moved.
Yeah, it's moved. It gives you, it gives it, that's what really more for that one. It gives us the ability to give them a lump sum figure, Nick, so they can keep their own checkbook.
Okay. I mean, I read in
Yeah.
the century code, the treasurer,
It's
and
a,
it gives it a July 31st deadline. It's not like, they don't apparently get funded as the revenue comes into the county. They get funded on July 31st.
yeah.
It's just a weird deal.
So anyway, it gives us the ability to pay it out of the general fund. We just make a lump sum payment to them instead.
Okay.
That should really do away with them even having to turn in
A budget.
a budget request. They have to turn in a financial statement in July, but they don't have to turn in a budget request in,
Budget time,
yeah. And there is no set limit on that.
No.
No. It's at discretion of the county commissioner.
There's no cap on mills for the county fair? Really?
I don't think so.
Oh.
And we just budgeted what they requested, apparently.
We've just been giving them a set
Dollar amount.
mill levy, and it's been a mill levy because to keep up with inflation, that's all it's been.
It's equal, we got that number, we just took 75% of the previous value of the mill and said, that's about what they were getting, so that's what we would give them.
So we just go back to what the last mill's number was, the 17,429, and budgeted 75% of that in a dollar value for this year. Next year we'll go back and we'll look at this year's mill value and budget. So it'll just keep pumping forward.
How do you get a 3/4 of a mil?
Yeah,
That just pick that out of the air, or?
Well, that's what they used to get.
I
that's,
see.
It used to be limited.
A
to-
precedence was set somewhere.
yeah, it was limited in the century code prior to 2144, and now they took the cap off. So it's a commission imposed cap.
Okay.
And they seem happy with that, that's what they requested, so.
Because they're unaware that they could request more.
Well, you can, but-
If they look through the minutes or whatever, no.
And then C41, that's what the balances that will be transferred to the general fund out of those budgets that we just went through.
And the prior balance on that was $226,000, so if the difference is $120,000 from last time that came out of the general fund back in these special funds.
Regional corrections was the biggest one. I
Yes.
think, and then, I can't remember what the other one.
Hang on here. I can tell you. Okay, so what came out of there was the weed budget for $62,000 was deleted over there. regional collection for 56,000, JDA for 7144. That's what we pulled back out of the,
Out of the transfers.
yeah.
Okay,
So it actually was 225,442.26 was the previous balance, was the previous.
projection.
Yeah.
Okay, now we're gonna switch to a new schedule. Should we go back to the welfare?
Sounds reasonable.
Okay, see ya.
Just bag up a little. One of the first questions that I had was, there is the part on Schedule C, page 17.
Yeah, we might renumber the pages, but let's see.
Oh, I'm sorry.
But
Okay.
which?
It's the Human Service 1 account.
Okay, human service one is now
C18.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, and I'm just looking at the part where it was requested, down under where it says account 4,000, under the miscellaneous 300, and then the final appropriation, there was nothing in there. That was the one where we had talked about, because of the Senate bill, we're not gonna have those other expenditures, but we needed something in the miscellaneous, because that was the portion where if there, my understanding, if there were individuals that applied for homestead credit, and if they had to take back from us something they had given to us, we needed a place for that to come out of.
Abatements and stuff.
Hmm?
There was abatements.
Oh, I know, but there's a balance in the human services carried forward, so there was no need to levy any money for that. There was already a balance there.
Okay, so nothing's appropriated under that line item is what we're saying then? I was
Well,
just
no, I mean,
questioning.
you're carrying a balance,
Okay,
so the balance has to be used up before any more money is levied.
okay,
So you had a $6,295 balance, or $6,595 balance, we're gonna close out in 2015. So unless you had expenses equal or above that, there would be no money levied for the human services, because we rolled that into the
Okay.
overall budget.
okay. And I didn't understand how that works, so I just
Yeah.
put a quick
Yeah.
question
Yeah.
right there. That was just one of my questions. Okay, as we went through everything, like you basically had stated in your email, you appropriated everything that was asked for in the budget. That's awesome. My final question was, how many dollars are you levying for us? And I guess that was the only thing I didn't understand here.
274,000.
Yep, that's correct.
Okay, and it is that amount right there.
If,
Okay,
We had 5% of that too, didn't we? On page C, C2 or something.
yep,
I just couldn't find it anywhere where the final amount of what was being.
It's on the bottom of page
we're actually
C17.
gonna levy $294,800. No, 288.
Yeah, 288, 449.
But you're not gonna get that.
288.
Yeah, see, we took that 274, 713.33,
Mhm.
and then we can't have an allowance for delinquent tax collections of not to exceed 5%.
Okay,
So we added 5%.
okay, so it is going to be 288.
No, your number's 274.
Right, we don't get the whole thing, I understand that. The only thing that, because I never quite understand how, like, when we look at what the carryover, the actual carryover from 2014, then you look at as long as all of our revenues come in this year, and as long as we stay within budget, which we will stay within budget, then we would only need the 274.
Right.
It's the 53,519.67 that was carried into 2015. My only question, and I know it, I just get it straight in my brain, when we anticipate revenues coming in from other sources that have nothing to do with the tax dollars, if for some reason that doesn't all come in, we don't have that to work with this year. So I was just trying to wrap my brain around, will we actually carry in what's anticipated?
Okay.
If you can help me with that.
Let's go way over to actual expenditures 2014.
Mhm.
And that bottom number is after you propose your 2014 budget,
Mhm.
and if you maxed out your 2014 budget, you would have 33,687.58.
Mhm.
And that is an audited number. That is actually what you had left in 2014.
Exactly.
That was in the bank.
Right.
So now that gets carried over to start your budget in 15.
Correct.
And then all the expenditures that you were approved in 15 now go through the process, and when we get all done, if you spend every dime and you got in every bit of revenue that you proposed in 15, you would carry forward a balance of 53,519, and we'll audit that now coming this year.
Mhm.
And then that carries over to 16.
And that part I get.
Okay.
Now where I get confused, and I know that this is, we have to do something to try to budget. What I look at is we have these estimated revenues for 2015 that come in from other sources other than tax dollars. And if for some reason those dollars don't all come in,
Mm-hmm.
then we don't have those possibly to carry over into the next year.
So that $53,000 will become a lesser number.
Correct.
Correct.
And so then I just wondered, is there any cushion if that doesn't all come in? Because we're anticipating that all goes into the 16 budget.
The 53,000 is the cushion.
No, the $53,000 is.
Oh, in 16 you mean?
Right, the $53,000 is used to offset the levy.
Right. And we're counting that dollar amount actually goes into 16 when we look at now what we're anticipating to come in 16, what we're levying for 16. Hopefully we're going to still have those dollars to take in. So that's just where I try to wrap my brain around what happens.
Is there a safety net?
Exactly.
No.
So then what happens if those dollars don't come in?
Then
That's the
you'll
only
have
thing.
to make cuts in your department. No, there is no safety net
Okay.
because you can't build a safety net into it because you're right up against the mill levy limit.
Mhm.
If you were able to maximize the mill levies and you could build reserve, then there would be a safety net. But because your department is running at maximum capacity, basically, you can't build a safety net. So you are at the exposure of, if you lose any revenues,
Then there's no buying a computer for this person or that or whatever. The cuts have to be made. That's where I wanted to try to wrap
Hence
my
the name
brain
of budget.
around. Yes, right. I understand.
Yeah.
I just wanted to
No.
make sure that I was understanding, because we're saying, okay, you're carrying those dollars over, but that isn't necessarily correct.
okay, that's,
No, it's reducing the levy.
Yes.
You are carrying the dollars,
but they're offsetting the levy.
It's
So
offsetting the levy if it all comes in.
If
if it all comes in, so to be proactive in your approach to this, to build a safety net, if you started cutting expenses now and for future budgets, you could still then levy up to the maximum, put that into reserve, and you would have money saved for future calamities.
But what you are stating is that you're only going to levy the 274,713 plus your 5% in case revenue doesn't come in from the property tax.
Okay, but let's take for instance that you only when you got all done with your expenditures, doing your budget, you requested 15 mills. You would have the ability to request another 5 mills as reserve in your budget as an expenditure. And then it would be, then the county commission would say, well, yeah, if that's possible, you do need a reserve there. So the reserve is an expenditure, but you can't utilize the expense when you're bumped up against the mill levy limit. So it's an incentive to cut costs now
Absolutely,
for
and we have.
for future reserves.
And we have. But I was just wondering, because what you are levying is right at what you're anticipating we're gonna bring in, the carryover.
Yep.
There is no room, and that's why I was just asking.
And there is
So
no room.
way to build a
270
reserve with that.
274, 713. And unless excuse me, what's the number, Ron, 284?
288.
288, and what was the rest on there? Your 5%.
288,
That
449.
was
What?
449.
So that is
So
what you're
unless the-
levying, but you're allowing us the 274. But you are levying the 288, 449.
Right. 288, 449, divided by 20. Yeah. So,
I mean, I totally understand what's been appropriated, that is where we are to stay. And we need to be as frugal as we can going into the next year. I totally understand that. I just want to make sure that I understand how that came about, you know, the amount that's being levied.
and see, the other thing that takes into, that really makes it tough is when there's the zero net increase in mills. So you're within $8,000. You couldn't only increase your budget another $8,000. And then if you went over that, then you would have to go to a public meeting and ask the public whether or not you have the ability to increase that. So that made it kind of hard to build a reserve no matter what you do. Because your past behavior, which was okay, but your past behavior has now dictated how you have to move forward.
And of course, that was budgeted under a different director. And
No,
as we
I'm not finding
move
fault, I'm
forward-
not finding fault, but
Okay,
the,
yeah, yeah.
you know, and probably the social services is probably gonna be moved to a state-funded state.
That's what the legislature is looking at, and that's what the study is all about, and totally understood. Just wanted to make sure we understood where we are moving into 2016.
But you realize on that email you sent us at about that line 9, it said 398.
That is
That is the
max, yes.
adjusted max limit for the zero net sum increase on the mills. And and then if you look at line 24 on page 17.
Page 17.
I think they got an older one.
Okay.
Yeah, where do I go?
Anyway,
Page 16 in yours.
16 on there.
Okay. Okay.
what does line 24 way on the right hand side say?
391.50.
Okay. See, that's the corresponding number. So you had to stay underneath that 398 to get.
Yes, and we did. Okay. All right, and then just another quick question and we'll get out of here. We had worked into the budget under the salaries to do a raise. Now, my understanding is the raises that the commission had okayed was less than what we were looking at, or is it different because that's within our budget? I guess I need to understand how
That's
that
within your
works.
budget. We didn't
So
do
the
any raises.
3% raise that we worked into the budget is allowed then?
Isn't that state mandated?
Yes, well,
Well, it's
that's
not
what it was, well, it wasn't mandated, it was worked into there as for when they are looking at, as the state is doing this study, trying to determine what it would cost to take over our costs.
And that,
Then they work the 3% raise into that.
and that 3% is in that.
It is in the budget
we just
line
left it
that
there.
we did, so we're okay with that then?
You have $216,811 in salaries in your budget.
Okay,
Yeah.
All right, that was that was the last question I had.
Very good.
Do you guys have any questions for us?
No, I think you're doing a good job.
All right,
Thank
well,
you.
thank you guys.
Thank you.
Just gotta grab my purse.
Good day,
I'll be
ladies.
running back up the stairs. All right, have a
See you,
good day,
girls.
everyone.
Okay.
Move to Schedule E.
Schedule E, displays homemakers.
That's the nearing's fine.
Yeah. It doesn't seem like it's enough.
Yeah, it doesn't discourage.
Good on that.
Emergency medical.
Good there.
Yeah.
Well, the one thing we should mention about that is that's one bill where I mean, it's close to 1 mil. 2144 allowed a huge increase in emergency medical service, ambulance services for the counties, up to 10 mils if we want. And at some point, I mean, depending on what happens with our hospital here, the reason they did that is because in rural areas, they're losing hospital services and there has to be some way to get to people. So you can't have a volunteer ambulance service, you have to have a paid funded 24-hour-a-day ambulance service. So that might be something in the future that if we run into problems
The
with,
CMC district goes away or something like that.
yeah, or we run into problems with not having a hospital here. Instead of the money that go into the hospital, maybe that can be transferred, maybe net it won't make a difference, but maybe it can be transferred to a full-time
Yeah,
ambulance service. So, just so you're aware, that is in the century code now.
Flood control.
We're gonna close that out after this year and move that in the general fund, right, Ron?
Yeah, if we can. There's no FEMA restrictions on it or anything.
Well, this one isn't. This was what the department was created so FEMA could pay the administrative costs to the county and the county could distribute it.
Yeah, so then we can.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yep.
Took a while, but I found it.
Is that where the funny checks came from?
So yeah, so when money was paid to county employees for work they'd done on FEMA, it was originally paid right out of the FEMA fund, and when FEMA audited, they got in trouble over that, so they created this in order to fix that discrepancy. And they never used it.
They never used it. How did it get funded?
FEMA money, they got paid out of there. If you got paid out of the FEMA account to this account.
But it should go back to the FEMA accounts.
No, it is for administrative fees that on projects that were completed.
But they should, those monies should go to the county to offset the administrative costs.
Right, and they did go to the county. This is the county. The flood control department was the county's method of distributing
I
those
don't, it
funds.
should offset the cost of the people that administered the funds.
Yeah, and it's good. This money's going to go to the county, but they put in a special fund, and it can't go out of the special fund until the fund is inactive for 3 years. So next year we'll be able to get it to the county to offset those costs, and this will be a 3-year delay. Is that correct?
It sounds right. It's quite a mess. 'Cause I know Wayne sure doesn't, he never exactly knew why this money was here.
So if it would have stayed in those special funds, it could have been, the county could have been reimbursed for those administrative costs as the projects were completed. Okay.
And the administrative costs were paid out of the FEMA account, they just didn't go to a county office, they went directly to the individual.
Over and above what their salary was? That's some pretty fuzzy accounting.
I didn't do it.
That's
I
why,
understand that. And you won't do it.
and as,
Do you understand what we're talking about?
Yes.
and as a result of the audit, and as a result of some pressure on FEMA to the county to explain what had happened, this is what the explanation, this was what resulted from the explanation, but it was never used because people were gun shy. People were gun shy to take the money. It is I think all work.
Kind of like putting a Band-Aid on if you bled to death.
Okay,
So.
Historical Society.
Ron?
Oh, well, yeah, that one, it might be a little bit low, I guess. They're entitled to go to up to a quarter of a mil. And so if the mill is over $18,000, then they might be, well, I guess what we're levying is the 45, 44, so we'll be levying most likely a quarter of a mil.
Okay.
Good there?
Nelson County Health District, did we get that straightened up?
Yeah.
Well, we put in the 32,000 that we talked about last week.
And then I sent that email to all of you from,
It should be a hard number,
Yeah, so.
and then make the mill fit.
Okay. Senior citizens.
I still didn't receive that last club, so it's still just that 45.
Yeah, but we've got the senior citizen budget there is only one budget. The club is just what they do is they just divide up $10,000, I think, amongst the four clubs for their building. So they're at the 2 mil, they're about at the 2 mil now.
We're close to the 2
Yeah.
mil.
Good?
Library.
That'll come down some once we know the value of the mill. Because we can't levy that much, but we'll find out later just how much we can.
Yeah, that'll be 4 mills less the city's portion. So the value of 4 mills in the county subtracting out the value of the city.
Cooperstone,
Yeah.
which is 1.9 million or something.
Yeah, I think it's about 10%. So,
Yeah, that's what we get.
I mean, a real rough.
Yeah, I think we figured
figures.
it was like 10.5% or
Yeah.
something.
So real rough figures. If you figure a mill is worth $18,000 times point, it's probably only worth $16,000. So 4 mills probably be $64,000.
And then there's 8 mills levied in the city for the library, right?
Yeah, I guess they don't use mills since they're home rule, but it's the equivalent of a mill.
And that would be about right. They make up the difference of a 4 mil countywide levy, and they subtract Cooperstone out. We pay 77, they'll probably pay 12. I mean, we pay 64, they'll probably pay 12. So, and they have the ability to run. That's just a lump sum figure. That same thing they're supposed to provide us July 31st with a financial statement.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Yeah. Just so we can have that to make our decision on what monies we give them. They didn't, we did.
Water management? Is that one still fine? Or do I need to make some changes to that one?
matches what they asked for. Right now.
Yep.
And that's the same thing, this one's really, is kind of out of our hands. They're supposed to, they have their own checkbook. They don't have to account for account balances carried forward. They have a very complicated system as far as how they're supposed to fund and not fund these projects. And at some point, we're supposed to make sure that they're doing it correctly, but we never got around to that. Next year.
Good.
Senior citizen?
Those are just information now.
All those pages could be thrown away after each one.
And Ron had said that, but I forgot. It was early.
Oh,
Those are
I
just
should, so
information.
you might as well not hand out any of these pages. E10 is the last page of the miscellaneous notes.
what are these for?
And this
They're just information for,
information when we're building the budget, to try and check.
They're not officially a part of the budget. The budget ends
I
in
see.
E10.
Oh, yeah, B7. Okay.
Miscellaneous stuff.
okay, so we got that done. If you wanna look at the ad to make sure that that looks fine, I'll add the commissioners up at the top. But just make sure that everything looks fine. I'll be sending this to the paper by noon today. The townships and city officials put their letter in the mail yesterday, so those should be going out.
Does this match the budget?
I think so. I'll do one more look with Lori. I'll sit Lori down and do checks, so
Yeah,
make it.
it's like the line, calling the 2015 levy projections at the very bottom is that 1,989,655, and that matches the number at the bottom of Schedule A, 1,989,655. It's off penny, but that's because it rounds different here than it
Right.
does there.
And this was a program generated number, or this was a,
No, you type these in.
yeah, okay.
I typed these in, yep. The only one that's a formula is the total balance revenue and levy totals. That column is a formula, and the general, when it adds all the top ones, that one's a formula. But the rest are me, so I'll sit Lori down and make sure that I didn't have any errors or anything like that.
For next year, these easily could be formulas.
Yeah.
You know, we could put formulas in every single one of those and we would have to type them in. So-
Okay.
So I'll just try to work on that for the next year.
Sounds good.
In the winter time.
So we start the next year's budget meetings on Monday?
Yeah.
Put that, the budget looks giant when you put that projected revenue in there.
Yeah, yeah. Well, what really bumps it up is that, you know, the $700,000, $763 carried over in the road department, plus the $3.2 million.
Yeah, that was-
That it is, the grants coming in there, it looks big. But that is the correct way to do it, I understand, Nick, so.
And they've just been carrying the road department, that 700, they just carried that over for eternity, little bits, and it's been building.
How come it's changed so much? How come it doesn't work anymore?
Are we using that for our matches?
No.
Can't answer that, for sure.
Yeah, couldn't be really.
I mean, the value of the mill's gone up
Yep.
substantially.
Mhm.
How did the road department get funded 5 years ago?
It didn't, it's had huge equipment increases. Dollar values, I mean, payments in equipment, you know, that's,
But we've been leasing maintainers for 20 years.
yeah, but not as many and not upgrading as often, and I'd have to go back and analyze it exactly what, I think what gets any organization is when you don't have to worry about where your dollar's coming from, you don't worry about where it's spent. And it's pretty much just be, well, we've got room, let's buy it. We've got room, let's hire somebody. I mean, the workforce has increased substantially too.
It has.
Comparatively to what we used to do. I mean, we used to do a lot more of the work.
We do a lot more of our own work.
Yeah, we used to do a lot more of our own work. Now it's almost all it's contracted out, and the workforce size has still increased. I have to go back and I'd have to go back and look and see exactly, but it's so hard to track because the dollars and the way the state and the federal has put money into the projects has drastically changed. I think prior there was money that would come in and sometimes not get spent, but the money got to stay. And now the way they have it, you don't get the money until you actually get an invoice.
They used to get so much per mile, whether you did any maintenance on it
Or not, and so I think that part of it's.
Well, the missile sites had to have been a big deal.
Yeah, and maybe what you.
But that was a long time ago.
Right,
You know, that was-
but maybe what you brought up, maybe the cost that we're charging the townships hasn't gone up, and maybe there was at one time that we're making some money on that, maybe not anymore. But it's been a long. That balance has been carried. If you look back in budgets prior, it's hard to see because there's 3 different budgets and to try it, but it's there.
Our township, we hire a private contractor to do our roads, but they just charge $5 more than the county does.
Right.
So it has to be fairly close to what
Fairly
the
close,
actual
right.
cost.
They only charge you $85 an hour.
That's a tough one.
And you don't have any health insurance, retirement.
I think he does pay health insurance. I know he does. We lost one of our operators to him.
No, but I mean, if we're getting 85 and they're charging 85, we're paying employees.
He is too.
And Junior works for him.
Oh,
Junior quit here and went there because of more money. No, it was.
Until you figure out you drive 70 miles a day to go to work.
Well, and I don't think he took into account his retirement benefit, but he did take into account health insurance because Craig's paying that.
Yeah. And of course, time is the indicator of whether or not that's a profitable venture. So,
Well, yeah, he'll either
yeah.
survive or not.
But anyway, the balance is there, but the balance is being decreased drastically.
And something had to have changed drastically because their revenues have increased drastically.
I know we sure did it different before. Like last year, we levied that 28.36 mils. And Cindy somehow was taking budgeting some out of the general fund for the road department. And I never did follow her logic exactly, but that 3.6% she said was a general fund item that pays for the road department. And it confused the hell out of me. I'm sure it wasn't right.
I don't think a whole lot has changed other than just a little bit more transparency to what's happening. But I can't figure out where it came from. All I know is that here's the money that we can levy, and here's the money that we have, and here's the money that they're requesting, and if at some point those are going to be the same.
Are there costs in the road department that can be budgeted in the general? Like administrative or something? Is that what they were doing?
I don't see, we thought that, but I don't think so. I don't think so. I never got that in depth into it. So I didn't really see it. Nothing. It would just be for your own personal satisfaction, and didn't.
No, it would give us a little more knowledge as to what was going on in the past as opposed to now.
And that balance could have come from years ago. I mean, I don't know where.
No, I'm not even worried about the balance that
Oh.
we're carrying. I'm just worried about the ongoing operating costs and the amount of revenues. To say 25 mills today, I mean,
We could go to 30. The century code.
no, but I mean that's what they were collecting. That's 450,000.
That doesn't even cover the salaries.
He might have been underspending his budget for many of those years, and it was just the carriers just kept increasing because.
Which of these lines is their lease on their motor graders?
What's that?
Which line reflects the lease on the graders?
Not sure.
I mean, in 2008, their levy amounted to 240,000. I mean, it's just so much different. It just doesn't seem rational that much has changed in that budget.
All I see is equipment major purchases, equipment minor purchases.
Well, it's equipped.
Yeah.
Do we lease the own load, or do we just keep rolling the lease?
Keep rolling.
They keep rolling them so they don't have any maintenance.
Keep them under warranty.
Yeah, keep them under warranty.
But you've done it through 1206, right?
So, well, yeah.
My ear.
12,000 hours of it.
They keep their old Austin Western grader like Dutch Easter.
Yeah.
Guessing their lease payments is 62,518, so it's kind of an odd rate, must be a set.
What's the line item saying on it?
It just
It
says.
says equip.
Doesn't seem like enough for 4 graders and a John Deere tractor. And the John Deere one like 17 by itself.
I can't remember.
Is that 17 or 18,000?
It's the equipment line, that's 7500. That's from the road department, and from the FAR. They're gonna be 15,000 per machine lease per year.
Pretty cheap.
That's hardly cover the interest on what's a motor grader cost, 300,000-400,000.
I imagine.
I would think, I guess.
Yeah, 300,000 and 5% is 15 grand.
Bet they don't spend 110,000 on gas, fuel, and oil. Is that possible?
Hmm?
Well, this line item in here, gas, fuel, and oil of 110,000, is that even possible?
It's like $9,000 a month. The tanker.
Maybe.
See, here, I can look back to 2010 here. And compare it to now. In 2010, the overall, if you combine them, the overall budget was $1,050,000 for the all road departments combined.
Which one are you, what page are you looking at?
Oh, I've got a 2012 budget here.
Oh, I see, okay.
And then it goes back to 2010. I can see what's budgeted all the way through here.
And what was that again, though?
In 2010, for if I add all three of them up, the actual budget was $1,050,000.
So it's gone up.
Huh?
It's gone up 220,000. Outside contractor 150. Gravel 150,000. Overtime 83,000.
But see, then by 2012, it was 1,417.
1.7 million?
Yeah. So
There's a pretty good,
that was budgeted. Whether that's so, I think that's where the
big
the
increase.
excesses came. I think they were budgeted and they weren't spent.
Yeah, I think that's right, probably.
Well, there's $83,000 of overtime budgeted in 16, and there was zero spent in 14, and 15 estimated. Well, that's just a budget number. He didn't budget anything in 15.
Yeah. But like I said, it just went crazy here in from 10 to 11. It went up 200. $350,000, and then from 11 to 12 it went up 100, another $200,000. So I mean, there's $500,000 from 10 to 12 there, and you know it wasn't all spent. So
Which one were you talking about, Troy, just a little bit ago about that he didn't budget anything in 2015? Is it this one?
OT.
That's from the FAR. So then you'd have to go to the FAR to see what they budgeted for.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh,
what did he budget for overtime?
78,975.
Okay. Yeah, but they didn't spend it.
Anybody know the model numbers of those graders?
No.
They're cats? No, they're
John
John.
Deere's, aren't they?
They used to have cats. Now they're John
These are 2014. 672G, 272,700.
let's see the road budget. The road budget is, let's see, 3.34. Yeah, it's 1.4. When you subtract out the 1.8 to 1.5 and the carry. So it's went up, right? It
It has doubled.
yeah. I think those huge increases over those 2 years. I think that money
Built
was
a
salted
reserve.
away, built a reserve, and then
Yeah, Wayne kind of said that. He said he's always trying to increase his reserve just for general safety or whatever.
jelly beans in front of you, you eat 9. If you only got 2, you only got 2.
Motion to adjourn.
Do we need a motion to approve that ad?
Approve the ad.
I was gonna check her over again, so.
Do you wanna,
Oh, yeah. Well, you'll just make.
just make,
You want to stay up to
Changes.
recess? I said you want to stay up to recess.
No, you'll just make changes if you made a mathematical error. That's.
correct.
Is there a second to the motion? Is there a second to the motion?
I'll second.
Don't second the motion.
What motion? I thought we were.
To the adjournment.
Oh, adjournment.
Pay attention now.
Multi-motion.
Can't have multi-motion. Motion dies for lack of a second.
I make a motion that we approve the proposed ad for the upcoming 2016 budget as presented.
Do you wanna do as amended so that I can put in the commissioners?
As amended. Presented and amended.
Been moved by John to approve the amended ad to present to the citizens through the publication in the Griggs County paper of the 2016 budget. Is there a second to the motion?
I'll second.
No.
Seconded by Dale. Is there any discussion? Is there any discussion? Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll proceed to vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries.
Motion to adjourn?
Been moved by Ron to adjourn. Is there a second to the motion?
I'll second.
Seconded by Dale. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carried.
All right.
Meeting adjourn at what time?
October 9th, right?
October 9th is your next meeting, and then you have a public hearing that night at 6:30.
So should we meet at 4 o'clock then, or 3 o'clock, or what are you guys thinking?
Just we'll roll it so
Yeah, so we don't
we'll get
hang
done.
around all day.
So we don't go to the coach for too long.
Yeah. I'm safe there. I'm planning on missing that day. I'm gonna be gone, so
Okay.
whatever time.
What time's the hearing?
6:30.
What does it look like for our meeting? For
I have not started that, I'm sorry.
But you don't have a lot of stuff pending on that one, do you?
Not right now, no.
Ooh, we should be able to start our
the
meeting at
EOC
4 o'clock,
stuff
shouldn't we?
is shrinking and
Next meeting on October 9th at 4 p.m., followed by a public hearing at 6:30 regarding the budget.
Yeah, and then we have to at the public hearing, we either amend the budget, and then at the end of the public hearing, we approve the budget.
Right.
Yeah.
Meeting adjourned at 10:32.